The first thing we need to understand in order to clarify the distinction between minor and major pentatonics is this. Here is a single note. As you hear this note, your ear picks up a lot of information. You hear the sound of the instrument, you hear how loudly or softly I played the note, etc. If you have perfect pitch, you may even realize that it was an E. All this information, however, is very incomplete compared to the information you receive when you hear this note in a piece of actual music, in which case the context gives the note a lot more meaning. Here's an example. The same note acquires character and meaning because of the harmony, the chords that were played along with it. An E sounds different over a C major chord, over an E minor chord, over an F major 7 chord, and it can definitely sound really strange if played over, let's say, an E flat minor chord. Well, the same exact thing happens with a scale. A scale is just a group of notes, usually 7 or 5 in the case of pentatonics. Now, for the purpose of clarity, we usually arrange these notes in a series, according to their pitch from low to high. Although in real music, we can mix them around any way we like. Even out of context, a scale does have a certain sonic character because of its intervallic structure. In other words, the distance in pitch between its notes. A scale with mostly half steps and whole steps, like this one, sounds a lot different from one with bigger intervals, like this one, or this one. But when harmonic context is added to the equation, it affects the character of the music in a much more profound way. Here is the exact same scale played over one harmonic context. And here it is played again over a different one. You see how the same scale produced a different sonic effect? What I just played was a pentatonic scale. In the first case, the same scale sounded minor, and in the second case, it sounded major. And all this because of harmonic context. So what I played was actually two modes of the same pentatonic scale. Now I know that people don't usually use the term mode when referring to pentatonics, and that's okay, but technically that would be the correct terminology. I played the minor and major modes of the pentatonic scale. Relative scales is just another term for modes of the same scale. In the previous example, I played A minor pentatonic and C major pentatonics, which can either be called modes of the same pentatonic scale or they can be called relative scales. The distance between the root note of relative pentatonics is a minor third, that's 3 frets apart. In the following diagram of a common pentatonic fingering, the little m is the root of minor and the capital M is the root of the relative major. Can you see the 3 fret distance between them? The characteristic of relative scales is that they share the same notes, the same fingering on the same fretboard position, and just sound different because of context. Because of this, many times we don't even consciously realize that we are actually playing two modes, but only think of one of them. In the following example, I may be thinking that I'm playing A minor, when in reality I'm using both A minor and C major pentatonics. That's called harmonic simplification, and in most cases it's okay because our ear helps us to make the appropriate adjustments in our phrasing at a subconscious level anyway. But you may be wondering, now that the relationship between A minor and C major is clear, what's the relationship between A minor and A major? Two scales or modes that have the same root note but different structures are called parallel scales. In most cases, these are totally unrelated. Other than the fact that they share the same root note, they're usually not interchangeable in a soloing scenario. However, there are exceptions to this. A common exception is the first 4 bars of a 12-bar blues. In this case, both A minor and A major pentatonics can be used to give a different effect. Well, that's it for now. If you're watching this video in the SFS Pentatonics Lesson 2 page, you will get some more information there on how to apply all this with the string fragment system, and you will also find several backing tracks for both minor and major on the same page. Alright, this is Prokopis from EffectiveMusicPractice.com. Thanks for watching, have fun with this, and stay tuned for more videos on the subject of pentatonic scales, where we will talk about many interesting things such as where to use pentatonic scales, how to use pentatonics as substitutions, what kinds of systems exist for fingering pentatonics on the fretboard, how to use SFS to quickly learn how to apply all this, and more.